Okay, so sometimes when you're solving, which means finding the value of the variable, your variable actually disappears, okay, or cancels out. This could be one of two special cases, so let's look at them. The first one here, let's go ahead and solve that. I'm going to first distribute, all right? I'm always looking at my left and right side. I start by simplifying. So I'm going to distribute my 3. I get 3x minus 2 equals 3x plus 10. Now when I go to move my variable, let's say I move this one to the left. I'm going to move it by subtracting it. Okay? When I subtract 3x from both sides, what actually happens here is I get 0 on this side and I get 0 on this side. So the variables on both sides have just canceled out. Some students start panicking at this stage, wondering what they've done wrong, but this can happen. So it means one of two things. So the question I ask myself when this happens is this true or false? Okay? Is negative 2 equal to 10? Well, oops, that's false, right? Okay, so when I get something that's false, what does that mean? Well, what it means is this is impossible. I'm left with something that doesn't even make sense. And since this is impossible, it's impossible for negative 2 to equal 10, there is no solution. Okay, no solution at all. It is impossible for me to find a value for x in this case where the two sides will be equal. We talked some about set builder notation. The set builder notation for no solution is what's called an empty set. So it's just a 0 or a circle with a dash through it, a line through it. Okay, it's an empty set. Okay, well let's look at the other situation. So over here on the right here, my other special case. All right, I'm going to start by distributing. So on the left side there's nothing for me to do, but on the right side I'm going to distribute the 4. So I get 8y equals 8y minus 12 plus 12. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move this variable, sorry about that, to the left, this variable term, because there's no reason to move these. All the constant terms are on the right. So I'm going to move this variable term to the left. So I get 0 over here, and again I've got 0 over here. So my variable has canceled out once again. So I have 0 on the left, negative 12 plus 12 on the right, and your inverse property here of addition says that when I add opposites, all right, when I do negative 12 plus 12, I'm going to get 0 on the right as well. Okay, so again, when my variable cancels out, when my letters go away, I'm going to ask myself, am I left with something that's true or false? In this situation, 0 equals 0 is true. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, what it means is whatever the value of the variable is, I'm going to end up with something that's true. So basically it means that all real numbers are solutions. Okay, and in fact there are infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. Sometimes you might see it worded like that. It doesn't matter what the variable is. When I put it in, it's going to make it true. The set builder notation for this one, so remember, set builder notation is when you have these brackets, and let's see, the variable in this one was y. So y such that y is an element of the set of all real numbers. It's kind of a strange way that it's written here. Okay, so that's the set builder notation for all reals. You can actually check this one. You can't really check this. Okay, these I've always struggled with, like how do I check that? But if I think this is true, no matter what I put in for y, let's whatever I put in for y, it should give me that the left and right are equivalent. So if I'm correct that this is all real solution, watch what happens. I like to use irrational numbers because I'm not going to have a coincidence. So let's go ahead and try pi. Let's store pi, store into y. Okay, when I put in the left side, 8y, and I put in the right side, 4 parentheses 2y minus 3 parentheses plus 12, I get that the two sides are equal. Now, if it truly is all real solutions, I'm pretty confident since I use pi, it's irrational. But let's try another one. Let's do square root of 2. Let's store that into y. Okay, let's see what happens. So I'm actually going to be lazy and come up here and get my 8y from the left. So the left side gives me 11.31370, blah, blah, blah. And then let's go up here and pull up what the right side was. Okay, so I'm putting the right. And again, they're equivalent. So it doesn't matter what number I put in, what value I put in for my variable, the two sides are always going to be equal. And that means that my solutions are infinitely many solutions. All real numbers are my solutions. And that's what it looks like in set builder notation. So the moral of the story here is that, if your variables disappear, you're not going to panic because it probably just means it's a special case, assuming you've done your math right. And then you've just got to ask yourself, is it true or false? And depending on that answer, you're going to be able to decide if it's no solution or all real solutions.